Hello everybody and welcome to the What's On podcast. This is episode 12, I think. My name is Zachary.
My name's Matt.
And I'm Joe.
There you go. So today we're going to be talking, going to have a bit of an easier episode. We're going to be talking about stuff that's going to come up later down the year, like films, TV, events, a single book off me. I don't know if you two have got one, but...
I've not got one. I could have thought about that. I didn't think about that. It's actually quite a good... Carry on.
But first of all, we're going to have a little bit change from What's On podcast to Who's On podcast, because Joe does radiography, so I thought it would be interesting to go through a little bit of that, because I think it'd be interesting for people to learn a bit about it. So, Joe.
Yeah.
First of all, this is based in England, so work for the NHS. What is radiography?
So I'm a diagnostic radiographer. There are two branches of radiography. You've got radiotherapy, which is the one that people usually know. It's the cancer treatment and care to reduce tumours. Doesn't necessarily have to be cancer. And then there's me, who is a diagnostic radiographer, who I image people in order to diagnose them. So I do x-rays. I'm a general radiographer, so I take x-rays. I work a little bit in CT. So we take scans using radiation, and then there's also other branch of it that isn't just radiation, so like MRI and ultrasound. So 70% of people that come into hospital see a radiographer at some point. Yeah. So we do a lot. We do a lot. We cover everywhere. We work in theatres, we work in wards, all over the shop.
So what'll be like your main, like, what's the majority of work in a day? Is it like broken bones? Is it... Like...
Depends where you are. I can go into work on a day and I can be in theatre all day, start to finish, in orthopaedics, in urology, unblocking things, pinning things together. But then if there's not much theatre, I could be in A&E, so I could be x-raying broken bones, doing chest x-rays and people that are acquiring pneumonia. I could be doing, in Maine, just doing x-rays in GP patients, people who've had a cough for a while. OA in the knees, things like that. Yeah. It just depends when it's on the day. Be on mobiles. I could be going around the hospital with a mobile machine. Depends day to day, really.
Now, I bet some people have heard you say radiation and immediately think cancer causing and such like. So we've joked about it a bit, but can you explain to people why, even though it's with radiation, it's not this dramatic, dangerous thing that people think?
Radiation is dangerous. You can't deny that. I am a trained radiation protection supervisor, and when I work I have to ensure that people abide by certain issues to prevent things happening that are negative. So the whole basis of my work is benefits outweighing risks. So that is always explained to a patient, particularly patients who are pregnant, for example, and we work to certain guidelines to ensure that I am protected, that the patient is protected as much as possible, and whatever we are doing is in their benefit. So it's just what's going to kill you quicker in a lot of ways. And a chest x-ray is the equivalent to 3 days background radiation. So what you would get in 3 days just living your life is 3 days worth of background radiation. It's not as significant as people think in a lot of ways.
When you were studying for this, was it just pure academic work or placement and such like?
So I did a 3-year university course, and at the start I spent my majority of time at uni learning the basics, learning the bones. I know every bone in the body theoretically. So I spent 3 years learning that, but on the other side of that I spent a lot of time in placement. So in my last year of university I was in university 10 weeks total. The rest of the time I was at university, and it isn't like a normal university course. You are at uni the whole time. I had like 6 weeks off the entire year, which is not a lot in terms of university time. I know you went to uni, Matt, and you were off for like bloody 6 months at a time.
Well, yeah.
Pair of you were, don't give me that.
But yeah, it's a lot more... There's a lot more work focus, which I guess it has to be, because it's not just theoretical. You're working with like machines, you're making sure that you're doing stuff so that when you actually go into a job, you've had practical experience.
Practical experience to do the job, and also I'm working with patients. I can't learn everything out of a book. And not every person is the same. Not every way of doing things is the same, because some people can't do the positions I need to do the X-ray in. So you have to learn from people, because there's just no way of knowing how to talk. You cannot teach communication. You have to learn it firsthand. And everyone starts off nervous, and everyone starts out not being able to understand how to talk to someone, and then eventually it sort of hits one day and you think, oh, I can actually do this.
So one thing is, what's the difference between a radiographer and a radiologist?
Oh, everyone always asks me this. This is a question I got asked in my university interviews, and I remember someone saying it to me before. I know this. A radiologist is a doctor. So a radiologist is the guy who sits and reports the images. He is in charge of what I do.
Yeah.
And then a radiographer is me. So I am not a doctor. I'm an allied health professional. I am paid the same as a nurse, but I'm trained completely differently to a nurse. So I'm not a nurse, guys, despite popular belief. And we do the images, and they report them, or they can decide on how the images are done, particularly with scans more than general radiography, because especially in my hospital, we use a lot of reporting radiographers, which is people who are trained to report the images as well as radiologists.
Yeah.
So it just depends, really.
I mean, I guess a lot of people think when they think of hospitals, they just think of doctors, but it's a huge collaborative effort between like nurses, doctors, radiographers. Like, it's all being put together just for even just a single patient.
Oh yeah, like I didn't understand before I worked in a hospital, and I tell you, you guys couldn't even dream of it, how many people work in hospital, from doctors, nurses. They're the people you see in the media, but it's allied health professionals, physios, occupational therapists, just across the board, phlebotomists, everything. You just have people trained in different things, doing different jobs, and not one person could not, a doctor and a nurse could not treat a patient.
Yeah,
they could not do what everyone do.
It requires more people who've been trained in specific ways.
Yeah, 100%.
So speaking about, so currently doing that, do you just do like general patients, or can you go into various specialities to do with certain areas?
Well, I can. Some are, depends hospital to hospital. My hospital, they work in a way that you, after a certain amount of years, get trained in other modalities. Things like MRI, you can, and ultrasound, you do postgraduate study for. Things like CT, you tend to be able to graduate into. To some degree, and you get trained in-house, but that's just at my hospital. It does vary. One of my friends who graduated at the same time as me and trained in everything now, and that's just how their hospital worked. It just depends place to place.
Yeah. So one thing I've been bugged about to do was to do your picking of hospitals during university, because you had to travel quite a bit, didn't you?
Yeah. Again, it depends university to university. Some, if you're lucky, you are closer. When I was at uni, we had 6 or 7 placement sites, and I went to University of Liverpool, and we had the Liverpool hospitals, Aintree, the Royal, ones in the Wirral, like Arrow Park. I travelled to Crewe, but that isn't happening anymore because now the bursary has stopped. I was the last year of the bursary. The bursary has now stopped, which meant that it's harder for people to travel.
Yeah.
So they are trying to help with that. But yeah, and we are doing a rotation system now. But my university, when I did it, we did just stay at one placement site, but a lot of universities do a rotation. So I know Keele, for example, they do a year at one hospital, a year at another, and they go back to the original hospital they were in first year. Yeah. Every university does it different. Every radiographer I know who went to all different universities, they all did it in different ways.
Yeah. What's working for the NHS like? Like, what's the hours? Is it a fun place to work?
Right. I cannot speak highly of the NHS. It is stressful. Yeah, I work a lot, one way or another, but that is completely down to the fact that across the board, and I'm not just speaking for radiographers, I'm speaking for nurses, doctors, everything from start to finish, we just don't have enough of them. And I can honestly say I worked in A&E on a night shift last week, and there was 2 nurses in A&E covering 18 majors beds, a minors department, and a CDU unit. So in
terms of patient numbers, would you be able to put that into?
Well, we probably saw that night over 100 patients.
Okay.
And I was the only radiographer in the hospital as well. We just don't have enough staff. And we're a small hospital compared to some places. We just don't have enough staff. And it's always going to be stressful because we are constantly papering the cracks to make sure that everything goes well, the patients are looked after. And I absolutely love my job. My work family are my family. I love everything about it. I wouldn't change it for the world. I find it interesting. I learn something new every day. Yeah. And I promise you that 99% of the people who work in the NHS would say the same. It is so rewarding. But at the moment, the climate we live in, it's stressful, man. You can't deny that. And I wouldn't say that's different for anyone, really. Everyone's stressed.
Would you say that's a lot to do with like funding, to do with that, like not having enough people working at certain times?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you anymore. All I'm seeing at the end of the day is the patients that come through the door. There's not enough funding because we get things done. We're supposed to be having new digital rooms, upgrades. That gets pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. I see that, and we don't have enough staff. But I don't know how much that is. People are leaving because of the stress of having to paper over the cracks all the time. Yeah. But because they're leaving, it's making it worse. So it puts more pressure on the people before their hands. So I don't know what could make this better. We could just do with like an extra 3 million people working in the NHS and I'm sure we'd all be grand. Yeah. But we all know that's not going to happen, and we all know it's not viable. It's just there's a lot of people and not enough people to care for them. Yeah. We're just increasing numbers all the time. A&E see more people every day. Yeah. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. We just live in a society where we just can't handle the amount of people we have in it anymore.
And I think that's just come to mind was, obviously you don't put down any colleagues or anything, but in terms of like to get into like medical professions, it's always like you need to be the best of the best of the best of the best, like A stars, A's, all this. Your experience working with people, do they need like the amount of information? Is it just a skill that anyone could get of a like reasonable amount, or does it need to be those best people that need to?
My degree, I needed 3 B's at A level. Okay, that's to some people that sounds unachievable, but I really think it's such a practical job that as long as you know what you're doing when you are taking the pictures and what you're looking at, it is essentially, it's not an academic thing in a lot of ways. Okay, you need to know a lot of names, a lot of words and a lot of things like that, but it is, you look at a picture and you have to make a decision there and then. Yeah. And if that is a skill you have, then that is awesome. You can do it. And I do think it's a lot practical based. I didn't get 3 B's. I did not get 3 B's. And I can honestly say that it was difficult. And we can all say, we all did degrees here. It was all difficult. We all had our moments. But if you enjoy something, I really think you can, if you enjoy something enough, you can really get through things. Yeah. And you can really finish them. You didn't really enjoy your course at the end of it, and you just lost interest, and it meant that you lost your motivation. I enjoyed my course till the very last day I did it. Yeah. I enjoy it every day I go into work. I love it, and I feel like if people love something, they can make things work no matter what, and that's pretty much proof of it.
Yeah, I just wanted to start with that because it's interesting to hear from someone actually working in the NHS, because all normal people or
normal people,
like not civilians or not military, but people outside medical profession, outside military, and so it's like, all right, don't like all they say is the waiting times and the sitting down and wasting. So that's all we see really. So it's interesting to hear from behind the scenes.
It is. It has been a revelation, let's say. And I come home every night and I'm trying to explain to people your waiting time is not necessarily down to that, and they don't see, because they're sat in the waiting room, they don't see the ambulances are getting rushed in, and they don't see that. And it's all about. I know it sounds awful, but we are working really, really hard, and if you use the provisions that are there for your A&E, your GP surgery, your chemist properly, then at the end of the day, everything will just fall into place a lot better than it is now. You don't need to go to A&E at 3 a.m. for a cough you've had for 6 weeks. Yeah. And you see that too often, and I do believe that becomes an issue because people are then pushing up breach times, waiting times, all the time. That's all people see. All you see is the numbers.
Yeah.
And you're losing the people behind that. We are giving high quality care to the people that need it.
Yeah.
And if you saw behind the curtains a little bit, I feel like it would make sense.
Yeah.
And I do feel I do have sympathy for people because I'd really struggle to be patient in a situation where I was poorly, or my child was poorly, or a family member was poorly. But I have the belief that you've got to understand that other people are there too. And it's a really difficult thing to have to explain to people.
I mean, it's a little bit of entitlement, isn't it? It's just like we have it for free, so we sort of take it for granted.
Yeah.
And then when we get I think everyone, apart from probably people at the far end of entitled, I just look at America sometimes and just go, oh, we have it pretty decent over here.
Yeah. I don't know. It's one of those things. I don't know what'll help it. I don't know what'll change. But we are on our back foot. We are on our last leg here, and it's something needs to give.
Lovely. So, thanks for going through all that.
It's all right.
So, back to a bit of regular programming, really. some films, TV, and
After my
games,
rant.
all this. So, just stuff that's coming up in the area, Ali. Stuff we're looking forward to. Stuff that got interest in, etc., etc. Start with some movies. So, anything that is picking your mind?
Bird of Prey.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
The Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
The Harley Quinn movie. I saw the trailer for it the other day, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Is it February?
Oh, I hope so.
I think it's the 7th or 12th.
It's like a collaboration between a lot of female
Yeah.
supervillains
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
DC.
I feel like this year is the year for female superheroes, supervillains, superness.
Yeah, you've got Black Widow, Wonder Woman.
Excited. That's so cool.
Captain Marvel, I think, is getting a sequel this year.
This year.
I think they filmed it this year. I believe it's next year, but
Yeah, Birds of
add it to the
Prey.
mix.
I'm really excited.
What is it
for.
about it? Is it?
I don't know. I just feel like there's something they do with Harley Quinn that's exciting.
Is
Like
it Margot Robbie's portrayal, or is it just the way the character is? They made the character.
She does a great job at.
Yeah.
She's a great actress and she does a really good job, but I feel like the character's just.
Yeah, I like the craziness.
I feel like
Keeps you on the edge of
the
your seat.
character's built very well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Keeps you on the edge of the seat, doesn't it? It's good. I'm looking forward to it. And it just looks exciting. I want to see what the other people are bringing into it.
Yeah.
It's one of DC's finer films.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like it's going to be one of DC's finer films.
I think that's one of those sort of things. Like DC, I find very dark. Generally, it's compared to Marvel, it's very dark. I love the light-heartedness of the Harley Quinn. Yes.
I don't know if it's intentional, and I know it's completely separate, but I like the fact they've released this film a couple months after they released The Joker.
Yeah.
I don't know if that. I imagine it's probably not intentional.
Bring the mood back up.
It's just like, bang, here's The Joker. Then a couple months later, bang, here's the Harley Quinn film. It's like, oh, this is exciting.
Yeah. We're speaking a bit soon though, because it might be rubbish. But let's hope for the best. I'm looking forward to it.
I hope so, because the previous things that she's appeared in, like Suicide Squad. Has she been in another one? I think it's just Suicide Squad, hasn't
Just
she?
Suicide Squad.
That's a fun movie to watch, but not the best.
It's not a good movie.
No.
But
so I think it might be along the same lines for this
Yeah.
one. It'll be a fun movie.
yeah.
But like you say, DC, when everything's dark, I don't think they've ever left the Dark Knight trilogy.
No.
They went completely realistic, and then they tried to keep that with it all the time.
Even Justice League, I didn't enjoy that much.
No. It was funny.
Justice League was a bit.
We talk about DC female characters like Wonder Woman this year, 1984. That's one I'm interested in coming out because the original Wonder Woman, apart from the very end of it, which I thought it just went a bit, I thought it was a great film overall.
What bugs me about the Wonder Woman is that in the trailer, he's alive.
Yeah, I think that takes it away from the first film a bit.
But he died in the end of the first film, so why is he alive in the trailer?
I feel a twist coming on.
I wonder if that's a way to tease moviegoers to find out.
I know, but
why did he... How is he in this?
What I mean is, like, obviously films have done that before in the past where you don't know if someone's dead or alive, and then they pop up in the second film.
But he was dead.
But he was,
Yeah.
like...
Boom.
I mean, it is time travel as opposed to, well, from what we can guess, time travel because it is that Steve from that time. It's not a reincarnation or a relative, an identical relative from several generations. It's him. So I don't know. I think it's because
I guess we'll wait and see how they explain it.
Yeah. I think it's because of the chemistry between them that they're doing it again. Yeah. But I feel it also takes away from the first film because it's a dramatic thing at the end where he's died and sacrificed himself, and now it's like, oh, but he's lived in the second one. But I don't know. We'll have to see when it comes out.
We will have to see. I am excited for it though. I do feel like it could have done with a sequel. Like I felt like that's something that could have had a sequel, and I'm glad it has got one. I'm excited for what they do with it because I feel like there's a lot of things they could do with it.
Yeah. You two want to go with another one?
Black Widow. I'm excited for that.
Oh, honestly, hold my glass. I was so excited for that. When she was my favourite character. I don't know whether I've just wanted to be her, I think. She was just, I just love her. When she died in Endgame.
Oh my god, spoil it. No, I'm joking.
There was many, many tears. I was sat in the cinema like, what's happening? I am so excited for them to do this prequel. I'm excited for when they're doing it as well, in terms of in her timeline.
Yeah, it's just after Civil War.
It is, yeah. And I'm very, very excited for that. I think that's going to be so interesting because it's like, it's not... See, when it first was announced as a prequel and we didn't know when it was going to be. Yeah. And it was... Everyone took it as when she was training to be a spy. Yes.
Prior to the Avengers.
Prior to anything. That's cool.
Yeah.
However, the fact that we already know her at this point, and if you were watching in order, that would fit in Civil War. I'm excited for that. I'm going to have to go and rewatch Civil War. Watch everything up to Civil War just so I can watch Black Widow. I'm excited. I love her character. I think she's kick-ass.
I think it should be good, and I do like the incorporation of the villain, which is Taskmaster, who people who don't know from the comics, his ability is to, when he's fighting with someone, to mimic their entire fighting style. So at the end of the most recent trailer, they could do the flip at the same time, and it's the exact same because he copies her way of fighting. So I think that should be very interesting.
That sounds awesome.
Villain of the film.
So excited.
And have you two seen Stranger Things?
I haven't.
No. I haven't.
It seems like this big popular one, but like no one seems to have seen it.
I feel like everyone was talking about it for a while, but when nobody really saw it. Assuming you saw it.
I've seen it, but I only saw it because I thought everyone had seen it.
It's like everyone's going on about sex education. I haven't seen that.
I haven't seen that. It doesn't appeal to me, I've got to say.
I've not seen it. I want to check it out just because this YouTuber I follow, or this team of YouTuber channel, that's a few guys. Someone in the setup of sex education was a fan of their channel. So in one of the scenes in sex education, they'd scrolled this character from the YouTube channel into the wall, and it passed over, and I think someone got in trouble for it because they didn't realise they put it in. But it was quite funny.
I would like to see it out. I feel like I'll give it a try, but I'm not sure. Sorry, carry on.
No,
that's the strange things.
Just one of the characters, the police cop in it, he's playing the Russian Captain America.
The Russian Captain America?
Yeah. Have you seen
Captain
the trailer?
Russia. I have seen it, but I didn't...
It's the guy in the red suit in
right, got it.
He's basically Russian Captain America. He's had the super soldier serum, so he's as strong and sort of like...
Right,
so
got it. I've clearly not taken this in very well, have I?
So yeah, that's another one that should be interesting going forward.
On this in this vein, Marvel's Dark Side, the little dark channel they're going down. They've done Morbius.
Yes,
I am excited for that. My brother told me about this the other day, and I was like, that actually sounds good. It's like a superhero, supervillain, vampire dude. Didn't really understand the trailer, I'm not gonna lie. It was just a guy trying to heal himself and getting bitten by vampire bats. Yeah. And then just turning into a strange werewolfy vampire thing. Didn't really get it. Very excited for it. I feel like they're going to do it well. Also, can we just discuss about the fact it's Jared Leto?
I was about to
and
say
he's gone over to dark side and gone to Marvel. Oh.
I was about to say, like, interesting choice.
Yeah, I think he just got a bit mugged off, didn't he, with the whole Suicide Squad thing, and then he just...
They've all done it, like, there's quite a few of them who've done, like, DC and Marvel, like, a big example is probably, like, Ryan Reynolds, who, after doing Green Lantern, was like, I like Deadpool.
Yeah, but what a shock. even he knows Green Lantern was a bit of a failure.
Well, yeah, he put it in.
Yeah.
Put it in the Deadpool film.
Brilliant. Loved it.
But...
Is that getting a third one?
Deadpool?
Yeah.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah.
I believe I saw something on it.
They could go so much with Deadpool.
Definitely.
They're going to keep him going forever, aren't they?
Well, yeah, when he stops making his own movies, he's just going to be like a cameo character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's the like Wolverine was like popped in every
Yeah.
other of the like newer X-Men films, so this is just gonna be Deadpool because he can go into anything basically, apart from dark stuff. But with the Morbius one, I spoke around about this a couple of episodes ago. But the way they're doing it is like Sony are doing their own little Spider-Verse, and Marvel like the MCU, and the arrangement they've got because of Spider-Man, it's that he can appear in like the MCU.
Yeah.
This Spider-Verse, which is like Morbius, Spider-Man, Venom, them lot are going to be in this Spider-Verse by Sony, and they're doing their own thing. Stuff that happens in the MCU films affects the Spider-Verse. Stuff that happens in the Spider-Verse won't affect stuff in the MCU.
Got it.
Because obviously MCU's bigger.
Yeah.
Place.
It's, but like I was saying, going down that darker path, because they've just done Venom, haven't they? And it's they're going down... I never saw that, but it's going down that route, because that was... I didn't see it because it didn't appeal to me. I'm not a scary movie kind of gal, I've got to say. But it felt like they're going down that route, aren't they?
Yeah. Another one that I'm interested in is... Odd one actually is Mulan, which is the...
I wrote that down too.
We've got that down as well.
I find it funny, our first 4 or 5 films have all been female-centred. Well, no,
They
Jared
are.
Leto. But
Well,
he's got long enough hair.
Yeah.
But Mulan, it's very interesting because they're taking a different route than the animated film because, like, Aladdin and one of the other ones...
Beauty and the Beast, was it?
Yeah, they basically just copied it. Copied the Disney, like, the animated film, scene for scene film, but this one's doing its own thing. They're not doing it as a musical. They're having, like, soundtrack to what you do.
I despise musicals.
Well.
But they're doing their own thing. It's still doing magic, but it's having its own story based around that character, and it looks really interesting.
Right. I didn't know that. I knew they were doing it, and I was going to say about the... how do we feel about these changing the animations into the live action things? Because I like the idea of it, but I've not seen any of them because I've not been interested in them. I'm interested in Mulan because they are changing it.
Yeah.
But I feel like the other ones were... I don't know. I don't know what they were trying to achieve.
They were just conversing like straight to live action. I think
I know,
this one's
but...
doing its own thing, and I think because it's doing its own thing, it's like its own story now.
They could do that with Mulan though. Mulan was a...
and it's got one hell of a budget. It's got 270 to 300 million budget, which for like context, Wolf of Wall Street was 100 million. So they've got 3 times the budget of that. And then Joker, budget 15 million, I think it was. No, it might not be. It might more. I'm thinking different. So the 15 or 70, but it's still low.
But still, you could. But it's a different kind of movie, isn't it? Like Mulan is always going to be a bit.
And it's going to be a war. Like there's war in it.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some big action.
Dramatic. Yeah. That's what I was going to say. Whereas the Joker, despite being an absolutely astonishing film, it was very low key. It was very low key, and you could do that with a small budget.
You could tell.
We could do that. I know.
High budget film.
Should we all recreate it? That could be the next YouTube channel.
The acting wouldn't be the best. Location would be different.
Yeah, we'll do it in...
soundtrack will probably get copyright strikes.
Yeah, we'll just go do it in Manchester. We'll pretend to be the Joker and see what happens. Probably get arrested.
Let's not.
Just recreate movies. That could be our new thing.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that subway scene?
Oh yeah.
Let's probably not.
Probably not do. We're not going to do it like scene for scene. Some. Like I don't know if like Jimmy Fallon's going to invite me onto his show just to go. Do you want to hear a joke, Jimmy? Another one that's coming up is The King's Man, which is the prequel. Is this another one you've got on your list?
No, but
It's
Interesting.
I don't know this. The prequel to what? Sorry.
do you know the Kingsman with Taron Egerton? It's a bit like it's like a Mickey take on the. It's not a Mickey take. It's a serious film, but it takes the mick of a lot of popular spy tropes.
Yeah.
So Kingsman, it was really popular. Like they've had a sequel, and now this one is a prequel to that series and set back where the Kingsman, the spy division as they're called, set up. So he's got a lot of like older actors like Ralph Fiennes, which I've not seen him in a lot of stuff in a while. Just the start of it.
Voldemort.
Oh,
that's where I know him from.
To set back in the olden day. So I'm really interested to see what they do with that because it was a good film, good set of films, and they film it in a very fun way, I think.
Is that the one you were trying to make me watch?
Kingsman.
Yeah. I thought you were trying to make me watch it. I do know, I can see the picture in my head. I can see the trailer in my head. But...
don't think... No.
Never mind. Probably someone else.
Fair enough. Anyone?
Oh, yeah, a big one. Jo said she'd never heard of this before, and I was ashamed. Top Gun.
Oh, Maverick into.
Yeah. What? Why?
I think a lot of people are hyped for it. I mean,
How long's it been now? What?
30 years, I think.
30 years. Why? 30 years later. Oh, let's have a sequel.
I mean, why not?
Is it a sequel or is it a remake?
Sequel.
It's just a sequel.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Tom Cruise is a great actor. Like, I don't think he's been in bad movies, but himself as an actor, he's a really good actor.
How much persuading
Yeah.
would it
It's money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for Top Gun?
Yeah.
No, I thought you were talking about The Mummy.
Oh no.
Because The Mummy, I could only think of like money persuasion. Go into that. But in terms of Top Gun, I imagine he's wanted to do it for a while. Like it's one of its most notable films.
No, but 30 years.
Why not? Them, isn't it?
Why not?
Why not? See small faces.
You've got
Probably a bit of a laugh, yeah. Get paid for the
quite
privilege.
a lot of stuff to lose from it.
What, in case it all goes wrong?
You know, yeah, well,
Oh,
if it
That's
goes
always
wrong
the
and it's
issue
bad,
with sequels.
and then it ruins the legacy of
Exactly, that's always the issue with sequels, especially late sequels, because it could just ruin the legacy that they've built up already. Because people hype it so much, they've always got that scary prospect of going into it and it just failing.
Yeah. The only other one that I've got down is No Time to Die, which is the James Bond, the final Daniel Craig one. I mentioned this tons of times in the last few episodes, but it's just like Rami Malek, great actor, and he's going to be the villain. Daniel Craig, last one, he's been the best Bond, I think.
For a while.
Most realistic, at least. And just excited for it.
I'm looking forward to it.
Have they announced the next James Bond? No.
Well, this one's not even come out, so...
No, I mean, have they announced the next...
Oh, no, the next actor. No.
Yeah. Could even be actress.
No, we've talked about this last week. That's Barbara something, who's the producer who has the say on all the Bond films. She just flat out said there's not going to be a female Bond. Female actresses should be making their own characters and such like. Like she said it in a really good way. She said, "Why should they need to take on the back of these male characters? They should be thrashing their own."
Yeah,
Fair play.
So yeah, she's just flat out gone nope, which I agree with.
I understand, yeah. I do feel like before we started this, we were having a little discussion about Doctor Who for a bit of background, but it is a funny one because you are making things PC and people want it to be PC, but they're forcing it on things that are possibly not. Like she said, it's a very valid point. Yeah. Why should we have to make something that is fundamentally based on a character that has been around for so long? Why does that have to be forced PC?
Yeah.
And I it wasn't exactly offensive. Bond has never offended me. Okay, I get the whole
do you mean like
female
misogyny?
Stereotypes, that sort of thing. I get that. And you having the Bond girl, I get that.
Bond girl.
Yeah, I get that. But it's a film and it is a fictional story that is based on books as well. You can't go into that and change everything just for the lark of it. There has to be some sort of respect and link to the original story that someone has written. And I get that, and I do agree in some respects that if women want that role, or people are very into that person getting that role, there should just be a new role made. There's enough film producers and films in the world to have a new film that could take off.
I mean, with Doctor Who, like, that was a very easy one for them to do.
Yes.
From a public perspective, it wasn't, because everyone was like, it's the Doctor, it should be a man. But it was a very easy one because he's an alien,
and he can change.
She's an alien now, I can't remember.
Yes, that's the big difference.
And I think they've sort of proved, like, I think they did a tester of it, like, with Missy, what's her name, and she thrashed that.
Yeah.
Like, so
she always was. She's just a brilliant actress.
Yeah.
And they've done that, and I think they did that so well. But I feel like they did that in a way that wasn't like, here, have some political correctness. They did it in a way that it was, she was like amazing.
Yeah.
But they've now made it so politically correct. It's arguably difficult to watch. It's almost uncomfortable to watch in some scenes because they are doing that. And James Bond is a male character. He's a human male character, and he's saying a story that has been done so many times, and people know the story, that it would change so much just to be like, well, they're a woman now. Have that. What would they even call her? I want to know what they call her. Genevieve Bond, we'll go with.
Yeah.
Joanna Bond, that'd be awesome.
No.
I am the new James Bond guy, sorry.
Well, this year as well, it seems to be the year of horror as well, because there is a lot of remakes and a lot of, like, I don't think there's only a few horrors every year that, like, have some worthiness to them. So this year, like, remakes, The Grudge is getting remade, like, that's coming out. Invisible Man, Candyman, another Conjuring, number 20 or something like that. Purge, number 25. And then a couple which may be alright, like, I know one that should be good, which is Quiet Place 2.
Yeah.
I know everyone that had a lot of acclaim to it when it came out. And another one called Gretel and Hansel, which is obviously about Hansel and Gretel. They probably changed.
Really?
I was going to say they just changed the word around for you. Just go, okay, it's something different. It's Gretel and Hansel. Another one that's coming out is called Baby Yaga, which is, I think everyone's just going to read and go, it's that thing from John Wick. Even though it's meant to be a horror movie. But one thing I wanted to say before going on was, how do you find out about films that are coming out? Because I find it, unless there's a huge thing on Twitter or obviously YouTube ads or something like that, like, how do you find out about films?
I'm very much the same. I don't watch TV. I can't think of many people that actually just sit and watch television now. Put on again and watch through the adverts. We're in an age now we don't have to watch adverts. So I to do this today, to actually refresh everything, we Googled, didn't we? We just actually sat there and Googled. That's the only way to do it, man. Yeah. Twitter or YouTube.
The internet.
The internet. You don't, like, the other one is if you go and see a film. That's the other big one, I'd say. I go into the cinema and I sit and watch a film, watch the adverts for a film, and that's the best way. Yeah. We sit there, don't we, and we just...
Because the only way I find is, like, awards, like, when it's on 1917, because, like, obviously that was a big film in, like, Oscar nominations, so it's like, and Twitter and everything, it's, like, it's more than adverts now, it's more about hearing stuff, and through, like, Twitter and such like. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much everything from films. Do you want to go on TV?
Yeah. Things I'm excited for, I've got to go straight in with it. I am so excited for the last season of Lucifer. So excited. I'm so excited they brought it back. I'm slightly devastated that they've brought it, this is the last season. I'm glad they've extended it. I'm excited for what they do with it. Yeah. Because they've left it in a way that they could basically do anything and it'd be exciting. Yeah. I'm just so excited for it, but I'm so sad it's the last season. And I hope they bring it back and I hope they renew it. And if you haven't seen Lucifer, you need to watch it because it's like my favourite show.
So people don't know, Lucifer is about the devil basically coming down to earth. Coming down to earth, opens a nightclub and it goes around a story. It's basically, and it starts working with a detective to solve crimes. It's basically a detective program with quite a bit of comedy, and he's based off like the DC character, like Lucifer monster from DC, so not like the literal devil.
No.
Well, he is the devil in that universe, but it's like not this red horns thing.
Yeah.
Who he is. but
He's a good
he's a
looking
comedic
chappy.
character. So it is a fun series, and I liked that because Netflix took it over. That it went down to 10 episodes, and it was just concentrated stuff rather than having to do like this 24 episode space out everything and stuff.
Yeah.
And I know, I think I mentioned another time, but they've casted God in the final season, which I imagine they would have had to do at some point.
Oh yeah, they've got to bring God into it at some
After
point. What, the
bringing
strange daddy?
Yeah. He's actually taking some time off, like from all his prayer stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's the literal God. One thing I'm looking forward to is a Netflix one called Money Heist or La Casa de Papel, which is a Spanish TV program.
Here we go.
Which is funny because I only watched this to like help improve Spanish, but it's a really good program that I think even people who are not interested in learning Spanish should watch, because it's like Prison Break, if you've seen it. It's a heist into a mint, which is a factory which prints money.
Yeah.
So this heist is set in Spain, where they break in, and it's just a very psychological program where they have this master plan, and it shows you how they planned it. And as the series progresses, it's like stuff changes, the police come into it, a situation changes, and then it flashes back to, oh, this was planned for, it was part of the plan, and it keeps going like that. Every episode there's a twist. It's just a really good film, and I think a lot of people haven't seen it because it's in Spanish.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have seen it without
wanting to
see it for practice. But it's a really good program.
I watched it. Go, sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. And the next season on Netflix is coming out midpoint this year, April this year. So I'm looking forward to that.
I watch everything in Spanish. I watch everything with subtitles. Anyway,
I'd really recommend that. It's really good.
Grand.
Next.
We saw one called The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, Disney Plus, isn't it? That's coming towards in March, isn't it?
I think so.
What's your opinion on these? Because we've already had superhero TV shows, like we've had Arrow and Flash, like we've had that, but this is something different, isn't it? It's the movie characters coming into TV.
Yeah.
I don't mind it, to be honest. It's nice. I think it'd be nice, especially two out of the Marvel universe, two smaller characters on the grand scale, getting their own show.
I mean, there's several ones coming up. There's Falcon and Winter Soldier. There's WandaVision, which is Scarlet Witch and Vision. There's Loki. So I don't know if he's sharing that with Hawkeye, because I think Hawkeye was meant to have his own thing, but I think they're mixing those two now. But yeah, carry on, sorry. They've got a few going.
Yeah, no, I quite enjoy it. Cause I'm just a bit of a big fan of the Marvel characters, so...
I'm not sure if I'd watch it, though.
I'd watch it.
I would... You know what? It's funny. All these movie character programs come out, and I'm always like, yeah, I'm really interested in that. I never watch them. I don't know what it is that turns me off them, but I never get round to it. But I would see the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Those two characters are my most exciting. But however, you just said about the Wanda and Vision one. I would love to watch that. They're like another couple of my favourite.
I really
characters.
like Paul Bettany, the actor who plays Vision and also voiced Jarvis in the original ones. I think he's a really good actor, and he's not been in as much as I would have liked to see him in.
Yeah.
I
think that'd be cool. They could do a lot with them. But I don't know what it is that turns me off them. Come back to me in a few months when they come out, and I'll watch them and say. But I don't know what turns me off them. But something clearly does.
Yeah. And we were just saying then, in terms of not watching TV, like everything is streaming nowadays. Like, like there's even BritBox now, which I didn't even know was a thing, which is the BBC. I've not used it. Is it bad?
BritBox annoys me. It annoys me the fact that you pay for a TV license and then they come up with that.
Do you have to pay for it?
Yes.
How much is it?
I don't know, but it annoys me that you have to pay for a TV license, but then they come up with that.
What actually is it? Is it like BBC iPlayer? Like, because that's still around.
That's essentially what it is.
They're going to make iPlayer, so it's, you know how iPlayer have like a series on there. Yeah, so like they've got Gavin and Stacey at the moment. They've got like old tapes. They've got Sherlock all on there at the moment. They have a few others. I was looking at them the other day. They're moving all that onto BritBox.
So it's like,
Waterloo Road as well. You know, like
Yeah.
classics
so
that
it's
you
like
might
historical iPlayer.
Yeah, it's historical life. It's like the archives.
Yeah.
Which is cool. But a lot of it was available on, say, YouTube or things like that, and they had them. Their channels had them.
Yeah.
It wasn't. We used to watch Waterloo Road, but just
Yeah.
for something to watch.
Yeah.
And we used to watch that on YouTube.
Yeah.
With no adverts, it was grand. We just used to stream it, didn't we?
But-
and it was their YouTube channel. It wasn't anything.
So it wasn't actually
Sketchy.
dodgy. It was just their channel
Their
who
channel,
had the rights to show it.
Yeah.
But they're taking that away to put it on this paid
service.
thing,
Mhm.
which defeats the object of paying for a TV license.
I
Could you-
get it for Americans
Mm.
if it's available, because it was available in America first.
But it's called BritBox.
I know, but it's so they can watch British TV in the same way we watch Netflix, and a lot of that's American.
Yeah. But it's a lot of, it's a big thing now. Like there's BritBox, which I've only just recently found out about. Obvious ones like Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime,
Now
I
TV.
think, Now TV. I think HBO's just come out with one. They're going to start one called HBO Max. Like it's, I'm wondering how many channels on standard TV are going to have to, like, how much this is hurting them probably.
Yeah.
That how many of them are not going to survive this next 10 years because adverts are going to go towards streaming, aren't they? They're going to go what can go before. Well, Netflix doesn't even do adverts, do they? So I don't know, before HBO.
They do
probably.
have some adverts, I think, do they? Or is that Now TV? It's Now TV, isn't it? I find it difficult to. The thing is, it gets to the point, doesn't it, where there's a lot. You're looking for one thing, and you go through. We have to have pretty much all of them. But between us, we have pretty much all of them, don't we? So we are constant. If we want to watch a film, we have to look through everything to see if it's that. And then when you don't find it on yet, they're like, "Well, we're not paying for another one." Or like, we want to watch Sherlock, so we have to go through everything. And we watched it all on Netflix when it was on Netflix. Now it's on iPlayer, and it's going to move to BritBox, and that's annoying because I'm going to have to now pay for it when I'm already paying for three other
And a TV license.
and a TV license. I don't know. Personal opinion, but annoying.
But, the only thing that I'm looking forward to this month, other than stuff that I've laboured on tons of time previous weeks, is The Boys Season 2, the Amazon series. That's something I'm really looking forward to. They brought out a great trailer a few weeks back, a couple of months back now actually, but that's coming out midpoint this year. Looking forward to that. I enjoyed that series. Very dark. Viewpoint on superheroes.
Right. I do know of this actually. I was thinking about that.
Do.
I've heard of this.
It's really good. It's
Is
the
it?
one. It's one I told your brother to watch.
Yeah, and he did watch it.
But it's really good. It's comedic.
When's that
and stuff.
coming out?
Sometime midpoint this year.
Midpoint this year.
Yeah, like June or July. But they've not announced it, but they know it's this year.
Because it was funny.
But yeah, it's good, and it's a dark viewing. Like it's R. I think I don't know. It's R-rated because it's TV, like online, but it's that sort of thing. Any more TV?
No.
Covered everything we want to cover.
Yeah.
Got a blank sheet totally.
No, we've got a few bits.
Oh, go on then.
We just got general
We've
stuff.
just got a few general things next
shoot.
year.
This year,
sorry.
which is a leap year, guys, which is exciting.
Oh, yeah.
That's an exciting point of 2020. Leap year, we've got an extra day, man.
2020 could bring the end of Donald Trump. The 2020 presidential elections, which are already marred by controversy already.
Good old politics.
I know.
I won't go into personal opinions, but just thought I'd mention it.
And that's going to happen this year.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, because that's November, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so.
You're just holding on to your hair now, Zach.
You never know. You might not even make it today. You might be impeached beforehand.
Nah, it's Fish 347 thing. They're all going to vote, so it's not going to happen. That. Well, you never know.
You never know.
Four guys might just go, time to stab him in the back. But a big one for me was the 2020 Olympics this year.
Yeah.
So that should be fun. It's always nice seeing, just going through and going, some bowls are happening.
You know what I love about it is when you're in summer and everyone's stood there with a cold pint and you got the barbecue going and it's like, what's the let's get something on the television. Hey, it's just the Olympics, and that's my memory. Yeah, which sport is it today? Is it a bit of ice skating? No, that's the Winter Olympics, isn't it?
Is it fencing?
Bit of fencing, bit of javelin,
bit of judo.
Yeah.
It's also the Euro 2020 this year, football wise.
Yeah,
it's always fun. football tournaments in the summer.
Every year.
Thrilling.
Every year. I remember last
Every
year.
2 years.
Oh, it was so annoying. Every 2 years. Oh, well, I am sorry.
Well,
I
the
remember when the
Euros.
World Cup was on, I was just like, oh my god, is there ever not a football game on? I feel like that at the moment, to be honest.
There wasn't the tournament last summer, but there is this summer.
Oh, here we go.
There isn't one the year after, but then it's the World Cup again the year after that.
How exciting.
Sure,
me and Zach are absolutely thrilled
Oh,
about
I
that.
am thrilled.
the last thing we've got to mention. Well, I want to mention. Well,
I've got something to mention too, but Zach, me and Zach can talk about books.
there's 2 more things. Next gen consoles. 5, right.
Go.
Next gen consoles this year.
Yeah, PS5 and Xbox Series coming out.
That's quite exciting.
Should be interesting.
Which one are you gonna
I don't know.
turn towards?
I don't know. I need to look into it.
Is there a benefit on it? Is there excitement about it?
I have to say, I haven't even looked yet.
Have you not?
No.
They're going to be expensive.
They are going to be expensive.
Because everything's expensive now, but oh my goodness, they're going to be expensive.
They
And
are
then the
going to be
games are going to be expensive. Everything's expensive.
Yeah.
Right, books. Me and you, books. You know what I'm excited for?
Shoot.
What I'm very excited for, I now can't remember the name of it, which is going to really wind me up, but the prequel Hunger Games book. That comes out really soon.
Something like The Ballad of Mockingbirds or something?
It's called something like the Mockingbirds and Snakes.
Yeah.
Snakes and can't remember. Excited for it. Everyone's kicking off at the moment. This is a big deal at the moment. Everybody is booting off because it's about President Snow.
Yeah, it's the younger version how he got to there. But
however, I'm quite interested.
Well, I'm interested because like Katniss or anything may be boring as anything prior to it. Like he's
Yeah.
probably the only interesting character you could go back and do. Like
There is a few things. They were going to do it on what people predicted, because no one could predict what she was going to do.
Yeah.
People predicted it being on an old games, so like Mags's games, which was like the second, third, fifth, something like that, in below 10, one of her games. That was really important, and I feel like that was a really big deal. And they were going to do it about the dark days and stuff, when the revolution. That would have been cool as well. However, it's I'm not offended by it being about President Snow. Tell me when I've read it. I am very critical when it comes to books. If I've read a series and a new book comes out in that series, I am critical of it, especially if it's a prequel.
Yeah. Because the issue with prequel is always your knowledge of the character prior to makes you think how they would act in the current series.
Yeah.
It's like you think, oh, he was like this in that book.
Yeah.
Why did he do this in X book?
I just hope they don't do what they did with Harry Potter. Oh my lord! Like Fantastic Beasts.
Oh, I've not actually kept up with him.
Yeah, I am the biggest Harry Potter fan ever. Yeah, Fantastic Beasts was difficult to watch for me because it was American, and I know that sounds awful, but yeah, it was difficult, and I hope the book, because it's going to be a long while before they do a film, I know, but I hope the book is done with style and class and respect for the series. Yeah. So it all links up and it all makes sense, because it could very easily just just blow everything out of the water, which would be awesome if I did that.
She sort of she went mental with Pottermore. Like she put out so much, like Pottermore is the her expanding the knowledge, and she started putting on all this random stuff, and it was like just leave it alone. Like you did your job. I don't mind tidbits, but don't be like feeding us. And some of it was just pure like PC. It was just like one thing like everyone like when it's just like, oh, Hermione could be black, and it's just like, you don't need to like it's like I don't know if it's stated in the books, but it's just bringing in, it might have been, I'm pretty sure it was, but it's just like it's bringing in PC stuff into a series that people are just enjoying. Like it's a kid's book, and
we all have now learnt that, and it's now a set impression. Like, and when you think of Hermione, you don't think of Cursed Child Hermione. Was it Cursed Child Hermione? Yes, it was Cursed Child Hermione. The play, who was black. I don't know her name. She was lovely. She did it really well, and it was really cleverly done. But you don't remember her. You remember Emma Watson. And that's because that's the image that we all grew up with. We were the generation that grew up with Harry Potter. So,
the only book I'm looking forward to is, because I've not kept up track much of books, is the Scuddlery Pleasant books, which a series we talked about previously, but it's the next one in that is coming out, but it's like the 14th book in the series now, and it just makes me think of like this guy's pretty consistent. He took a break between 2 series, like he did this full series of 9 books, and then this is like the sequel series. but like 14 books in I think 12 or 12 or 13 books in 12 years, and then we're just looking back at JRR and just going, come on, can't you get the next Game of Thrones book out? It's almost been a decade since the last Game of Thrones book has come out. So,
do you think you'd read it if it came out? Or do you reckon it affects because you've seen the TV show now?
Well, this is one of the things he said. He's come out recently, like, when he first did it, he said, oh, the TV is pretty similar to how I was going to finish the book, and now it came out a few days ago, so nah, it's different. Just like, yeah, because everyone hated it.
Yeah.
That's what I don't like, because it's now influencing how he's going to write.
Yeah.
Which it shouldn't have.
It shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't have been. They rushed the Game of Thrones series a little bit. Like it should have just. It was like Harry Potter. You wouldn't have released the last Harry Potter movie without having the book, would you?
Yeah.
Should have waited. Sorry. Unpopular opinion. Should have waited.
But yeah, I think that's all we've got time for. So thank you very much for being on, and thank you very much for listening.
No worries.
We'll be back.
So social at Twitter at _What's On Podcast, Instagram, Facebook and YouTube at the What's On Podcast. Thank you very much for listening. If you could leave a review, apparently that helps. That'd be great.
Send any questions to us that you haven't wanted us to ask.
Yeah,
because we could do like a little segment on different things, like you've just done with moi. You could do a little segment on different things. That'd be really cool.
It'd be lovely. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.
Bye.